Hello everyone and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host Rob Bentley and thanks for tuning in. Another busy episode. Today we'll talk Bulldog Athletics. We'll check in with the Ferris State hockey team as they return home from Alaska, and we'll recap a memorable Ferris State volleyball season. First up, Bulldog Hockey with head coach Bob Daniels. And coach, welcome back from Alaska.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Bulldogs went to Alaska this past weekend for a two-game CCHA series. A tough loss, 3-2 on Friday, but you came back, actually a 2-0 loss on Friday, but came back with a nice 3-2 win on Saturday.
We did, and you know, it's starting to sound, I'm sure, Rob, to listeners, a bit of a broken record, but it was two more games that were really hotly contested, and in which, you know, we could have easily won Friday night's game, even though we lost 2-0. We had the edge in shots on goal, and Taylor played very well. Their goalie just had an outstanding night, and that was the only difference is as our goalie played well, their goalie played great, and we lost 2-0. But I was happy. You know, when we go there, Rob, there's a 4-hour time change between Big Rapids and Fairbanks, Alaska, and you know, that has an effect probably on the coaches more than the kids. They're used to being up at that hour, I think. But then they also play an Olympic-sized sheet there, which is much different in size than our sheet. And it's 8 or 15 feet wider. And it doesn't sound like much, but that's quite a bit. That's about a 20% increase in the width of the sheet of ice. And so it does change the game. And those two things combined, the time change, distance traveled, if you will, coupled with the Olympic sheet, and it's always a difficult place for us to play. And then I don't want to diminish the fact that they've got a very good hockey team. So all that goes and it works against you. I was really proud on Saturday night, though, that we were able to come back. And again, another game in which easily Fairbanks could have won that game, but we got the game winner late in the game. We won 3-2, and really, you know, I would have to say you always want to win every game, but that was a successful weekend for us.
A couple big goals from sophomore Andy Huff in Saturday's game. It seemed like every time you guys were able to score, Alaska came right back, but fortunately you were always able to answer their goal as well.
Yeah, boy, it's exactly right. It's one issue we're worried about before I talk about Andy Huff and the game he had. But the one issue I've got right now with our team is that after we score, we're giving up a goal an awful lot of times, or we're giving up chances. And I don't know why that is, but you've got to find a way to score and hold on to that momentum for a while. And we make life tough. We score, and then we turn around and hand the other team. We don't hand it to them, but, you know, their team scores, but we do hand the momentum back over to them. But boy, it was really good to see the line of Andy Huff, Dominic Panetta, and Justin DiMartino have a great night. That's our fourth line on Saturday night, and those guys have been working hard. They've all had to overcome a little level of adversity for one reason or another. And then for Andy Huff to score both the goals, Dom, Panetta, and DiMartino had their hand in both those goals. And then also our third goal, even though it was scored by Aaron Schmidt, realistically that line set it up because they drew the penalty that put us on the power play. So that line had a hand in all three goals. And when you're going to be a good team, if you want to pursue a championship level hockey, you've got to get contributions from your third and fourth lines, and mission accomplished with that on Saturday night.
When you talk about the goaltending, you mentioned Taylor Nilsson played the Friday game. C.J. Mott came back to get the win on Saturday. Talk about the play of those two over the weekend.
Sure. Well, once again, stellar goaltending. We are, boy, I tell you, we're getting spoiled. And, yeah, we lost 2-0 on the Friday night game, but it certainly wasn't Taylor Nelson's fault. He had another strong performance. And then the next night, C.J. let in 2 goals as well, but he was the beneficiary of our team scoring 3. And I thought he played extremely well. So, you know, we're getting to the point where, you know, we're pretty accustomed to only giving up a couple goals a game. And we've got to make sure, though, that we don't, you know, that might be a reason, too, that maybe our goal scoring's down is, you know, we're getting too used to our goalies not letting up many, but we're going to have to start scoring at a higher rate, and I think that'll come. Maybe another issue, another area we got to work on is power play, but I believe we only had 4 power plays the entire weekend, and we were 1 for 4. And then I believe Fairbanks only had 3 power plays the entire weekend, and we held them 0 for 3. So you can see that it was a very disciplined level of hockey this weekend.
In terms of the few penalties called, does that have a difference with the bigger size sheet?
Yes, it does. When you have a bigger area to play and compete on, the guys aren't in such close proximity. You take those same two teams and you put them on our sheet, which is an NHL-style rink, where there's a lot more action in a confined area. They're constantly battling over loose pucks. The penalty minutes are gonna go up just due to that fact. But one thing it did change, Rob, which is interesting, is when you have that few penalties, generally on power plays and penalty kills, players like Willette, a lot of our first tier, if you will, our first, second line players, they get a lot more ice time. All of a sudden now, when there's not many penalties, we were able to roll 4 lines, and I think that contributed to one of the reasons why we had such a strong performance out of Dominic Panetta's line, and that's because they've got the more ice time and they were able to get into the flow of the games better.
How important was it to come back and get that win on Saturday in a difficult environment at the Carlson Center and on the road in CCHA play?
It was really important, and we always talk to our players, if you're pursuing first place, you can't afford to stub your toe very often. A split, albeit you'll take it, you can't have any sweeps, really. But if you're pursuing trying to get out of the basement, a split's really great, But for us, we're trying to, pursue the top echelon. If we can at least split on the road, we can sweep at home. That should put us in a pretty good position. So, and overall, though, and we were coming off a tie against Lake State and then a loss. So that was 2 games without a win. We wanted to kind of stop that streak right there.
In terms of where you're at right now, you're still in 3rd place in the CCHA standings in terms of total points, and now you've got a little bit of an extended break here for a couple weeks before you host Western Michigan. What do you do over these next 2 weeks in order to try to keep some of the momentum you have going?
Well, one of the interesting things is we got back at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. We left right after the game, flew through the night, a couple plane rides and bus rides. We eventually get here, Big Rapids. And we had the guys right away Monday morning turn around and get right back into the weight room. Now, we didn't do it because we thought it was that important for the strength training. We did it because we needed the kids up. We got to get acclimated back to this time zone, and we needed to make sure they were in the classroom. So from the standpoint of getting them up out of bed into the classroom, we thought it was important we got them in the weight room to start like any other Monday. Now, tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll have a light skate. And then again, a skate and a weight lift on Wednesday. And then we'll give the guys a few days off at Thanksgiving. It's going to be great. We haven't had a break since we started this journey at the end of September. It'll be nice to have a couple days off. We'll get them going again Sunday evening as we prepare to take on the Broncos in about 10, 11 days.
Well, Coach, welcome back from the trip to Alaska, and best of luck. Enjoy the holidays as we get ready for Western Michigan in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Rob. You too.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.